But regardless of why public sentiment has changed, it has. And now it's time to take delivery on that desire. And just as in 2004, I told you that we were ill-equipped to foment a movement or to exercise power, today we remain narrowly focused on policy measures as a means for change. And these will be inadequate to reduce our CO2 emissions by 80% by 2050, what we need to do, and greatly lacking if we have an agenda beyond global warming. One key is to shift from a narrow focus on policy change to unleash the creativity and imagination of the global public. In December of 2004, I performed an autopsy on environmentalism. Today, I'm here to acknowledge the birth of a blue movement, because blue is the color of possibility. As vast and common as the ocean, blue is a platform for sustainability that goes beyond the deep, beautiful green of environmentalism. I'm not asking you to give up on green. Green is good. So chill out. Green is the beating heart of the emerging blue movement. Green represents the simple and inarguable wisdom of ecology that all things are connected. But blue brings together a broader set of human concerns, from practice to price, from nature to society. Blue integrates all four streams of sustainability: social, cultural, economic, and environmental. And blue puts the way we treat ourselves and each other at the center of our focus. In Michael Pollan's book, In Defense of Food, he offers a set of rules for eating. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. And don't eat anything with a health claim. And don't eat anything your grandmother wouldn't recognize. I like that one. He writes, "What other animal needs professional help in deciding what it should eat?" Yet for most of human history, humans have navigated the question without expert advice. To guide us, we had, instead, culture, which, at least when it comes to food, is really just a fancy word for your mother. Pollan's book is a call for us to defend what we innately know about food. Whole foods, less processed, eaten in modest amounts, are a healthy path. But we are people who shop as well as people who eat. And shopping is the only other activity besides sleeping and watching TV that consumes our time as thoroughly as eating. Yet when it comes to shopping, we have few cultural rules and signposts to follow in the way that we have with eating. As flawed as they may be, Americans know the concepts of fat and calories and cholesterol and sodium. But what do we know about the sodium lauryl sulfate in our toothpaste, or the phthalates in a baby bottle, or the embedded energy cost in a cable box, or the provenance of the parabens in cosmetics? It's enough to make your head spin. Now, the people who are going to have to figure this out are women, because women across the world lead the shopping budgets for families. The average American woman spends an hour a day shopping. She is an expert at finding price and value for herself and her family, and increasingly, she's looking to make a difference when she does. To date, the only social change movement that speaks to her says one thing: stop. Stop shopping. Start making your own household chemicals, grinding your own detergent from scratch, packing homemade lunch for your children, and hanging your clothes out to dry on a laundry line. And these are noble ends, but everything that we've learned about behavior change is that it happens small step by small step. So it's unlikely that a mom will switch from Cheese Whiz to tofu. Our challenge is to inspire people to make better choices, but do not underestimate the power of the shopper. Private consumption expenditures in the United States represent about 70% of the gross domestic product. We can either deny this or try to leverage it, and denying it hasn't gotten us very far. Engaging people as consumers, as people who shop, allows us the possibility of building a billion-person movement. And to be a part of it, people don't need to join a listserv or pay a membership fee, and they won't get a newsletter or a membership card. No wall calendars. But put most simply, to many people, green means choosing the environment, nature, and the atmosphere over all things. And what we need to do instead is put people at the center of our focus and not have to choose between nature and people. The Earth will survive long after humanity makes itself extinct, like thousands of other species. Blue is a chance to save ourselves, and in so doing, to save the Earth. Now, not surprisingly, there's a sense of green fatigue facing many people, largely because it's being promoted as a panacea in ways that it doesn't deliver. Organic American Spirit cigarettes. Now, they still cause lung cancer and low birth weight babies. They may be better for the environment, but this is the sort of nearsightedness that the green fetish for organic creates. Organic is simply one step towards doing the right thing, even though it's the gold standard for being green. The real battle among consumers is not between the conventional carrot and the organic carrot, it's between the carrot and the Twinkie. People need to start choosing the carrot. The wholesome food versus the overprocessed food. And that's the battle that moms are facing every day at snack time. And it's a place for us to start our service to her. We want to keep the parts of green that have brought us change and innovation, but let go of the narrowness. Blue builds on the foundation that green has laid, but lets go of the baggage. So let's step back a bit and talk about the roots for a blue movement. In my speech on the death of environmentalism, I traced back the roots of the American conservation movement, from Henry David Thoreau to John Muir to Rachel Carson to my mentor David Brower. And all of these transformational figures were trying to protect nature or humanity from harm. Now, to change our orientation from limits to possibilities, we need to know what we're for and not strictly what we're against. The field of psychology went through a similar change almost a decade ago when Dr. Martin Seligman became the president of the American Psychological Association. Seligman noticed that most of psychology and most of psychological research over the last 100 years has been focused on depression and mania and what makes people sad and unhappy. And very little research had gone into what actually makes people happy and living in successful lives. And he found, not surprisingly, that there's certain interventions that people can take to actually become happier people. First, you need to get your material needs met. It's absolutely essential. But once that happens, how do we actually live successfully in this world? This is the modern problem that people more and more face on the planet. And he found basically 4 things. First, you need to have service in your life. You need to be serving something, some higher purpose larger than yourself. Second, you need to experience flow, the moment when you're really engaged, when you feel like you're being used at your maximum capacity. You need to experience that on a regular basis. You need to experience gratitude and be grateful for all the wonderful things we have in this world, the glory of the planet and the people we live among. And you need to have close connections, people who you care about and who care about your life and you connect to regularly. Now, similar to traditional psychology, environmentalism, which is basically the political arm of the green movement, is focused on executing ameliorating actions for the planet, slowing the release of CO2, removing glycols from household cleaners, or protecting farmland from being destroyed. And while these are absolutely essential political activities that we need to continue, they are not the basis for a lifestyle movement. A lifestyle movement requires the construction of a set of practices that make up the way we wish to live our lives. Slowing global warming and protecting our last wild places is a necessity, but it's not the whole end. If we see our goal as moving beyond just ameliorating harm and towards creating the future that we want to share, what can the logic of nature, the green movement, and the best parts of the environmental movement teach us? To help understand this, I want to share with you my experience with what might be the largest sustainability engagement campaign